Hail to the Redskins. Hail victory. Washington Commanders fans, we did it. We got him. Ramiz Ahmed, drum up the band. HTTR, HTTC, let's get it. Just kidding. What's good, y'all? This is Big Rose bringing you on the one, taking you all the way to the 1 yard line on these stories. I want to start it off by going through this McManus deal. So we all know what happened. Brandon McManus, Washington's place kicker, released this week after being accused by 2 flight attendants of sexual harassment. That has left Washington scrambling, but don't worry, guys, we got him, Ramiz Ahmed. I do want to say, honestly, not much production that we're missing out on from Brandon McManus. 30 for 37 overall, 5 of 10 from beyond 50. Just wasn't a lot there, but the thing is, there is also nothing going on as far as place kicker goes on the open market. Now, this guy that we signed, Ramiz Ahmed, 28 years old, Nevada product, most recently with the Birmingham Stallions of the UFL. He's actually been in the league a few times with the Bears. He was just kind of like another leg to give some competition to their kicker at that point. Was also with the Packers. He actually got some in-game action, but just on kickoffs. Never actually got to kick a field goal. Now, who is Ramiz Ahmed exactly? Why did we sign him? Because there's literally nobody else. I tried to do a deep dive on who out there is available, and there is just nothing. The best guy that I found that hasn't been re-signed is Brett Maher. Now, you guys might remember him from the Cowboys. He's been on a lot of different teams, actually, but one good thing I found, most 60-plus yard field goals made in a career with 4. I didn't know it was that low. Apparently, there's not that many 60-plus yard field goals that have been made in NFL history, so he's got that record. Now, on the other hand, he's also got the record for most missed PATs in a game with 4 as well. So, this is what we're looking at on the open market, and this is the best guy I found. Now, just so you guys know, he's been in the league since 2013, played up until 2023. He's only played back-to-back seasons in the NFL in 2018 and 2019. So a true journeyman. Like I said, not a lot of production that we're missing from McManus, but Brett Maher, I guess he's right in that boat as well. We're going to have to call Chris Blewett back. Where is Sean Sweezum when you need him? The only other guy I found that could possibly have provide us some help, Christopher Dunn. He's currently a free agent, spent some time with the Rams. He actually won the Lou Groza Award. It's given to the best kickers in college football back in 2022. The only reason I can see him not having a team right now is he's a small guy, 5'8", 175. He's going to get his back blown out when those punt teams are coming towards him. So, the chance of him getting trampled just extremely high, but literally that is all I could find as far as place kickers. So Ramiz Ahmed, we're going to see what this guy has. Hopefully there's something, because honestly, this Washington place kicker position has been snake bitten probably since Sean Sweezum. I mean, maybe Graham Gano, but it just has not been good for us. So we'll see about it. But Ramiz Ahmed, welcome him to the team. Hoping for the best for you, buddy. Next up, Christian McCaffrey. Brand new deal, $19 million a year, $38 million over 2 years. Main thing I want to say about this, he is not resetting the running back market. This is a contract specifically made for Christian McCaffrey. What he had to do last year, over 1,400 rush yards, 500 receiving yards, over 500 receiving yards, 21 tutties in the regular season, 160 total yards, and a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Nobody else is doing that, okay? Nobody else is going to repeat that for the foreseeable future. Christian McCaffrey passes the eye test. This guy is just an animal. Put the team on his back. Congrats to him, but C-Mac is just not resetting the running back market. This is his deal and his deal alone. We're not going to see these type of contract numbers associated with a running back for a long, long time. So shouts out to Christian McCaffrey. Keep doing your thing, man. Fun to watch you. Much deserved. Next up, Ceedee Lamb's contract. Mandatory minicamp began for the Cowboys today. Ceedee Lamb was a no-show. He's facing potential fines if he misses the entire camp of about $100,000, but it just doesn't seem like he's coming in. I think he's making $18 million this year anyway, so what's $100K to that guy? But now that Jefferson's deal is done, it's kind of paving the way for Ceedee Lamb. A lot of people don't believe that he's going to get that. Does he deserve it? Absolutely. 135 receptions last year, 1,749 yards. Honestly, mind-boggling. It's insane. Now, I think he completely deserves that Justin Jefferson money, but, I didn't really want to make it about that. What I really want to think about and ask Cowboys fans about, you've got Ceedee Lamb's contract coming up. Dak's already making 40, 50 million. Micah Parsons' deal is coming up. Now, where this is going to leave the Cowboys is if all three of these guys are making top dollar, we're talking Parsons and Lamb, $30, $35 million. We're talking Dak Prescott well over $50 million. So that's $120 to $130 million on just three players. Now, what that's going to do, even with next year's cap, that's $260 million is what is expected to be. That's leaving $130 million for your other 50 players on the team. So we're talking, if you do the math, $2 to $3 million per player. Nobody's playing for that. The veteran minimum is $960K, and those are guys that are literally walking on the street that are getting that. So Dallas is going to need probably 40 draft picks to be able to fill its team out and stay under the cap. Now, all three of those guys absolutely deserve it. A lot of people would say Dak Prescott doesn't, but, he's got the numbers. He's not clutch. He's got that Kirk Cousins gene where he'll take you to 13 wins in the regular season. He's going to lose that first playoff game. He's going to get smoked. Now, once again, I think he's much deserving of it. Micah Parsons, Ceedee Lamb, absolutely deserving of it. But are you willing to sacrifice the rest of your team for that? And that's something that I want to ask Cowboys fans about because, kind of like Washington fans, they love their players. They sometimes overvalue their players. Honestly, their players are pretty good, especially those three. But are you willing to pay those three and sacrifice the rest of the team and just see what that looks like? But more importantly, who are you willing to get rid of if it had to come to that? I think that's a super difficult question for Cowboys fans to answer. I feel like a lot of them would say Dak Prescott, but the thing is, you see what teams with no quarterbacks do, even with amazing receivers. So, I'd really be interested in hearing from you guys. For me, pay those three guys. I don't care. Sacrifice the rest of the team. I feel like it really does make a team weaker, and that's exactly what I want, baby. You know that. Next up, a question for all football fans. I think anybody can take one side or the other. Me, I'm not stuck in my ways. I can see both sides of it, but essentially, CJ Stroud appeared on $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, and when asked if he preferred Aaron Rodgers or Eli Manning's careers, he said, Eli. You want the rings, dog. Eli got two. And immediately, was his quote. And immediately, I think like other people, you kind of go, huh? Eli over Aaron Rodgers? But when you think about it, I'm no super competitor, but when I'm playing Warzone, I would much rather get a 0-kill game with a win than a 10-kill game with no win. So I can kind of see it from his side. I like the dub. Seeing that little tick mark in the W column kind of lets you know you did something, and it's a win regardless, right? If you did it on your own, if you put the team on your back, if your team carried you all the way there. Now, how I think these guys are wired is they're extremely egotistical, they're extremely proud. So I believe that how they're thought of in the end actually affects them some type of way. So for Eli Manning, as a passer, rating of 87.4 with 2,800 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions in 12 games in his playoff career. Now, That's actually not bad. Those are pretty good statistics throughout the playoffs. But if you ask anybody, they're not going to tell you that Eli put the team on his back and carried them all the way to a Super Bowl. They're going to tell you it was Justin Tuck, Jason Pierre-Paul, Matthias Kiwanuka, Michael Strahan. Oh, yeah, and Eli had a couple passes to Plaxico Burress and David Tyree. Now, if you ask anybody about Aaron Rodgers, he put the team on his back. He did it himself is pretty much how he's seen. Eli is seen as a guy that rode the coattails. I feel like he's really in that Trent Dilfer category that, they had an amazing defense. That's how they got to the Super Bowl. Now, when you think about it, and this brings up a good question. When you think about it, I think we can all agree Tom Brady, based off Super Bowls, obviously, is the greatest quarterback of all time. Now, we know there's more to it. If Brady's on the field, the chance of him winning is there regardless of what the score is. Now, my question is, who comes second? Now, if we're going based off Super Bowls, you want to say Joe Montana. You want to say Terry Bradshaw. And honestly, I wanted to be controversial and say that Patrick Mahomes is the second greatest quarterback of all time. But when you do a deep dive into these numbers, it's just not good. So Patrick Mahomes, passer rating of 85.2 with 1,071 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions in 4 Super Bowl games. So 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns, 5 interceptions in his 4 Super Bowl games. Now you go and look at Joe Montana, 1,142 passing yards, so a little bit more, 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Clean games in the Super Bowl. Most important game of the year, Joe Montana showed up. Now, his passer rating, 127.8 in the Super Bowl, in his Super Bowls, holds the record for most passes without an interception in the Super Bowl with 122. So I really wanted to be controversial and, have that recency effect of Patrick Mahomes and what we've seen him do, what he's been able to do on the field, but the numbers speak for themselves. Now, another reason I wanted to disrespect Montana a little bit is because he won 2 of those Super Bowls with Jerry Rice, literally the best receiver of all time, but just the stats, going back to the stats, I just can't do it to him. Now, I am going to disrespect Terry Bradshaw. I can't put him in the conversation. I don't think anybody would, honestly, but just to talk about it, in his 4 titles, 932 yards, 9 touchdowns in 4 Super Bowl appearances. So sorry, Terry Bradshaw, but Tom Brady, Joe Montana, I'll let you guys tell me who fills out that top 3. But to go back through it, Washington Commanders fans, Brandon McManus left us with a gaping hole in our booty cheeks to be exposed this year with our place kicker, which we were probably going to get exposed anyway. Like I said, not a lot of production to make up for there, but what's going to happen with Ramiz Ahmed? Like I said, there's nothing out there. There's literally nothing out there unless we're going to the UFL, going back into college and seeing who's available or who was available. But you tell me if there's any better options that I missed, let me know. Christian McCaffrey, 49ers fans, how do you feel? $38 million for the guy, obviously well-deserved. Ceedee Lamb, Cowboys fans, reach out to me. Who would have to go if you had to throw one of those 3 off the team? Are you willing to make that sacrifice to keep all 3 and just kind of roll with the punches, see what happens with the rest of the team? And then how are you guys feeling about this CJ Stroud comment? Let me know who would be the 3rd quarterback to fill out that top 3. Tom Brady, Joe Montana, probably Patrick Mahomes, but I want to do a little more deep dive into the numbers and, really see who deserves that. But follow up with me later, guys. This was On the One, Big Rose checking out.